Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Listen and grow as Del questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Del challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. My friends, today I'm going to make an announcement, and it's been 2 years since I've given a seminar. And I've decided, after prompting from my people, that it's time for me to give another seminar. And you say, well, why is that, Del? Why have you not given a seminar? And why is it now that it's time? Well, for the last 2 years, the marketplace, the prices were too high. And although our teachings and our educational product and theories, they work in up markets and down markets, they're just a general improvement in your overall investment strategy. That's all basically they are. Is that, hey, here's the right way to do it if you want to be financially successful, compared to all the other stuff you've been taught or told your whole life. But there's something going on right now that's a double-edged sword that makes it even more important. And the first part of that is that the market is changing. We are right now in a situation where the prices of apartment complexes and the prices of single-family houses, well, the prices of apartment complexes, start there, are coming down. And the deals after the last 2 years to 3 years of ridiculously high prices, absolutely unsafe financing techniques, and everybody out there that was doing these deals are feeling that now. They're starting to get hammered. All of these bad practices of buying the real estate at too high a price, and I'm talking multifamily now, with bad financing situations, short-term loans with adjustable rate interest, with interest-only payments, so there's no principal, so that you're not paying any of the mortgage down. So normally we'd pay the mortgage down, and at some point we would increase the value of the property. When we increase the value of the property, we could then refinance and pull our money back out of the deal. That's not happening. People are sitting in situations where when the interest rates went up, to offset the massive inflation. Think about the cycle here. The massive inflation was created by people paying too much. The people paying too much created the massive inflation, and because of the massive inflation, the Fed had to jump on it and increase interest rates. So the very people who overpaid for these real estate transactions over the last 3 years are now they're eating it. They're getting their behinds kicked. Because by raising the interest rates, the people that got into these short-term adjustable rate mortgages are getting killed by either the fact that their interest rate has adjusted so massively from 2.5% interest to as high as 7.5%, 8% interest. So they're getting slammed. The deals they bought don't work under those interest rate changes. Or they were in a situation where they had to buy an insurance cap, where you cap the rate, the height of the rate, how high the rate can go on you. Those insurance caps used to be reasonable, $50,000, $100,000 to protect your downside. Those things are $1 million a piece now and more. And so people can't even afford to buy the cap on the interest rates anymore. So people are getting hammered because of that. People are getting hammered because the Fed increasing the interest rates are on purpose slowing the economy. And so by slowing the economy, the one redeeming factor that has occurred for the last 3 years is that rents were going up at double-digit rates. By slamming the economy down, restraining it. The Fed has changed that to where the rent increases are minimal. There are some still, but they're minimal. The only place we can really see good rent increases is if you find somebody that didn't raise rents during that rent increase period and they're below market rents. But other than that, just the natural inflation of rents has slowed almost to a halt. So you have all the positives working against these people, all the negatives coming up and biting them in the behind. You say, well, Dale, how could that possibly be a good time for us to get involved? That is the absolute best time. If I've known one person, I've known 100,000 people that have told me, if I could just go back to 2008 and 2009 and buy real estate, I'd buy anything and everything I'd get my hands on. Well, guess what, guys? It's that time again. It's a repeat of 2008, 2009. You have about anywhere from 12 to 36 months to do this stuff. The people out there thinking that interest rates are going to go right back down again are positive thinkers. People like myself, I don't believe that's going to happen. I've seen nothing from the Fed saying that they're going to take the interest rates back down again. I'm hearing everything that they're either going to go up some more or they're going to sit on it for a while and see what it does. But I don't see anything saying that it's going to go down unless you're a Democrat and you're believing the lies out there that's saying that the inflation has subsided completely and that Bidenomics is actually making the country a good place to live. You can be confused into anything. You can be brainwashed into anything. But if you look around, the thing that got me today was I got an insurance bill for my automobile insurance. It was $6,000. I go, how can somebody afford to pay $6,000? Now, I can, but that's not the point. How can the average person just come up with $6,000? Well, obviously they don't. What they do is they put it in payments. But those payments are getting pretty large, right? At $6,000, those payments are getting pretty large per month. And that's on top of their car payment and their house payment and their electric bill and their water bill and their food bill. People are struggling right now. And they're living a life of quiet desperation. Why is it quiet? All right. Then why do you feel so fearful? Why is it that everybody I talk to right now, everybody I speak to, is afraid of what's going to happen, afraid of where the country's going, afraid of the economy, afraid that they're going to go broke, afraid that the company they're working for is going to shut down and lay them off? Why is everybody afraid? Why are they afraid they can't afford to feed their family at Thanksgiving or buy Christmas presents for Christmas? Why? Now, let's not even get into what this talk is going to be about today, which is retirement. We're going to get to retirement here in a few minutes. But we need to understand that part of the reason I need to come back and get involved and start speaking again is because the people that do what I do and what I teach, and they're doing it correctly, and that's a key factor. They're doing it correctly. They are not suffering right now. In fact, we're doing very well. But we're going to do well whether it's a Republican power, a Democrat in power, because the politics are not what we bet on. Interest rates are high or interest rates are low, doesn't matter. We're making a different type of financial decision in our life that's making us successful. And you're either going to be one of those people who said, hey, I heard him on the radio, I saw it, he made it clear, I jumped on it, I got something done, I got the right things done, and now my net worth is tripled in the last 2 years to 3 years. You're going to be one of those people, or you're going to be one of those, well, I didn't really know for sure what was going to happen, and I didn't want to take the risk. But if it comes around again, now I know. Well, guys, it only comes around once or twice in a lifetime to happen like what it's going to happen right now. I've actually lived it 3 times. In 87, when I first started, it happened. 2008, it happened. And now it's happening again. So I'm old, right? And that's why I'm on my 3rd incarnation of the entire marketplace flipping upside down to where you can buy stuff so cheap that you're going to make massive returns on this stuff. And I've got to get that message out there. So we're going to have a 2-day workshop here in Houston, Texas, because I'm old. I don't have the energy to go fly somewhere and do this. I'm going to do it right here in my backyard at our office. There is limited space because it is an office space. I don't know how many people we can hold, 500 people in the seminar room, 400. I don't know what the number is, but it's quite a few, but it's usually sold out instantly. And there's no price to come to this other than to be a member. And we've got specials going on that because we want people to get in. He said, well, Del, why don't you tell us your special and where to go to get all that? Guys, I don't do that part of what we do here. I am the guy that sits here and decides what's important for people to hear and to know and to go after. Then the rest of my team makes that stuff happen. If I were the person that had to do all the marketing and all the consulting and all the mentoring and all that, you shouldn't look at me and say, wow, I could learn something. You want to learn how to work on a business, not in a business. And that's what I'm going to teach you at this 2-day. I'm going to teach you how to start a business that you work on and not a business you work in. So the 2-day, the case study, which, by the way, is very, very important because I'm going to show you and introduce you to some deals and some people that have done those deals that are going to change the way you see finances. Guarantee you, blow your mind. If I don't blow your mind at the case study, I will have no idea why. Okay, I'll go, okay, well, we'll try harder. But the bottom line is it's going to blow your mind. The 2 stories that I have for multifamily and the 2 stories we're picking for single family are going to blow your mind. You're going to, this can't actually happen in this day. Yes, it is happening. It's happening right now. It can occur and is occurring. You just have to be aware of it, right? And so we're going to show you how these deals are done. That's at the case study. You're going to meet real people. And, of course, you can network with lots of other people that have been successful at this stuff. Then the 2-day, and by the way, that's September 7th is the case study. That's at night, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, whatever it runs. You can look that up on our website. And then the 2-day follows that on the 9th and the 10th. So that's Saturday and Sunday. And during these 2 days, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to be able to walk out of that room Sunday afternoon, get up Monday morning, and go get in a deal. That's the way it is. You're going to learn to locate, evaluate, negotiate, contract, close, and operate these properties. Now, does that mean that we don't have hundreds of hours of additional detailed information? We do. But you're going to get the basics that you need to totally understand. And 99.9% of the people that come out of my seminar go, it was like drinking water out of a fire hose. I'm going to give you so much information so quickly, it's just going to blow you away. That's okay. You take in as much as you can. You grow as fast as you can over that 2 days. But I guarantee you this, you will come out of that 2 days and you will be astonished at how much more you know about life than you did when you went in. I guarantee you that. This is going to be unbelievable. In fact, to show you how much I care, I'm actually creating a PowerPoint to follow. I normally don't use PowerPoints. I feel like I know the material like the back of my hand, and I don't need that. But because I want to be very specific about what I'm saying and about what is happening and how it's changing and what's going on, what you need to take advantage of and understand, I'm actually going to put it on a PowerPoint format. Most all of my other speakers use PowerPoints. And this time, I'm even going to put one together. So that shows you, check here. We'll take a short break. Be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Teaching you with a roadmap to creating the lifestyle you really want. Keep listening. The Del Walmsley Radio Show returns in moments.
Right now, we're coming upon a great opportunity. It's that time in which you are going to find that the marketplace is changing and it is shifting to a buyer's market away from a seller's market. Number one, the brokers don't want you to know that. They're going to do everything they can do to keep you from believing the truth. Number two, the sellers don't want to believe it, although in the back of their minds they know it. Now, that doesn't mean everybody will crater for you, but some people are going to be in those situations where they have to negotiate for deals, and you've got to be there. Now, if you're not there, you won't get one.
Join us for the free online workshop, and we'll show you how to be in the right place at the right time in any market cycle. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
You're hearing the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Want more life-changing knowledge? Access our podcast and listen on demand at lifestylesunlimited.com under the radio tab. Now your host, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today I've been announcing, and this is really taken up quite a bit of the whole show, if not all of it so far. I've been announcing the fact that I'm going to be giving the first seminar I've given in 2 years. It's going to be in Houston, Texas. It's going to be September 9th and 10th. But you also want to make the case study, which will be on the 7th. So if you're going to fly into town, and by the way, we are already having people reserving seating from all over the country. People want to fly in because I haven't done one in 2 years, and a lot of people have always wanted to see me do it. I was the one that wrote it. All the other seminars that come out of it, in fact, almost every multifamily, single family, not single family, but multifamily mentor seminar guys out there came from me. They're all descendants of this program. And so if you want to see that for posterity's sake, that's fine. But if you want to see it because the reason I'm doing it, which is the fact the marketplace is right now prime for unbelievable results, then you want to get in here and get signed up for this thing. If you're a member, you can attend. If you're not a member, they have discounts for you to become a member. But there is a limited amount of space, so you do need to act. Like I said, the 2-day is on the 9th and the 10th of September, which is right around the corner. I believe it's about a week from now, a week and a half. And the case study is September 7th. Now, the way this thing is set up, you're going to see the people and see real people and real deals on the case study. And then the 2-day, 9th and 10th, is with me. Then when you come out of the 2-day, there'll be a follow-up class that you can attend either live or online, which is how to get started in using all the stuff that we offer you here and how to use it. And then that next Friday will be a road trip. And we'll go out to real estate transactions, to apartment complexes, and then maybe single-family deals on Saturday or something. But it's all set up so that if you get in here within a 7-day period of time or a 10-day at the most, you're going to be out there buying real estate deals. And that's so important. And that's why I have allowed them to talk me into it. I don't know any other way to say it, because I really feel like they need to have some type of an inspiration out there to get this thing going. So today I had a show planned I want to get to, don't want to leave it out, and that is, what about retirement? And the thing that caught me was this bill I got for my auto insurance was $6,000 ago. How does the average person pay that, especially in retirement? How can they retire? And the first and most important gross mistake about retirement is to believe that you actually save up a pile of money, and then by saving up a pile of money, you're going to be able to live off of it. So what I did was I pulled up I actually pulled up 3 different reports. One was how much money do people actually make, and the percentiles of how much money people actually make, thinking, okay, what is it we need to replace? Because in my world, retirement is not a pile of money. It's the replacing of that income. And if you can replace that income, then you can retire. Now, the second thing I brought up was what is the rule that people retire by? And the rule most of you have already heard of is the rule of 4%, the 4% rule. And how does it apply and how does it fit in and everything? So I got this whole thing about that. And then there's a corollary between the two. And I'm going to start with the corollary and work my way backwards because it really is difficult to understand that people actually believe that they can retire by saving up a pile of money that is going to put out a 4% return. That's the rule, the rigid rule they call it. It's the rigid rule. The 4% rule assumes that you can increase your spending every year by a rate of inflation. So in other words, whatever you have saved up, it should produce at least a 4% return. If you take 4% every year, if there's a 5 or 6% return one year, that's good. Leave it in there because the next year there may only be a 2 or 3% return and you're going to have to balance it out. But with inflation, that 4% of that number should inflate over a period of time and blah, blah, blah. So then I pulled up the income percentiles for United States of America. And if you start 50% of the people in the 50% percentile make $44,000 a year as of 2019. That's as far as this thing goes. The 40 percentile makes 57, 30 percentile makes 75, et cetera, et cetera. The 20 percentile makes 100, 10 percentile makes 154, and 9% or 5 percentile makes 221,000. And the 4 percentile, 3 percentile, 2 percentile, 1 percentile go from 300 to 360 to 550. I looked up the average and median savings in this country. I couldn't believe that the average and median savings in this country were something like $44,000 was the average savings, and the median is like $70,000. So this is saying you need $1.1 million to be able to retire at $44,000 a year. How does that work? Well, obviously it doesn't. Yet, in our group, people are making that much money a year with 1/10 of that amount of investment. Because instead of making 4%, they're making 8 or 12 or 15 or 20 or 30%. And when you come in and see me at this 2-day, I'm going to show you how to do the same thing. If you come to the case study, you're going to meet people that actually did it. This is where you need to decide that you are going to make your life great. You're not going to wait for a political party to make your life great because neither party is going to take care of you. You have to take care of you, right? And that's a decision you're going to have to make. So in this information from the Charles Schwab article, because I just thought this stuff was so depressing that I wanted to share it with you. Go, Del, that's not very nice. No, it's not. But maybe it might inspire you to do something different with your life. It says the rule is a rigid rule. 4% rule assumes you increase your spending every year by a rate of inflation, not how your portfolio performs. In other words, it's not saying your portfolio will perform well enough that you can take out 4% every year and be happy and safe. No, it's just saying, which just assumes that you can, which can be a challenge for some investors. It also assumes you never have years where you spend more or less than the inflationary increase. That isn't going to happen. You know that as well as I do. It isn't how most people spend in retirement. Expenses may change from one year to the next, and the amount you spend may change throughout your retirement. So in other words, the rule doesn't work. Second point it makes is it applies to specific portfolio composition. The rule applies to a hypothetical portfolio investing 50% in stocks and 50% in bonds. Your actual portfolio composition may differ, and you may change your investments over time during your retirement. We generally suggest that you diversify your portfolio across a wide range of asset classes, stocks, bonds, and you reduce your exposure to stocks as you transition into retirement. Notice there's nothing there about real estate because they can't sell you any real estate, so they can't make any money off of you. The next one is it uses historical market returns. I love this one. Analysis by Charles Schwab Investment Advisory Incorporated projects that the market returns for stocks and bonds over the next decade, get this, are likely to be below the long-term historical average. That's Charles Schwab telling you that. That's your financial planner telling you our plan doesn't work. They've already told you 3 reasons it doesn't work, one of which is the worst, is that future results will not equal historic results, and they see it as going to be worse. It assumes the 30-year timeline in the horizon, meaning that you can't retire until age 65, so that this lasts you to age 95, which most people, that will be their life expectancy. But what if you start at 50 and you go, and this thing plans to support you for 30 years? Now you're only 80. You lived to 95. What do you do for the last 15 years? See, that rule tells you that the way this plan really works is you have to die before you run out of money. Instead of your money runs out before you die, or your money runs out after you die, you have to die so your money doesn't run out. It's a backwards approach, and it doesn't work. The last one is it includes very high leverage of confidence that your portfolio will last for at least 30 years. In other words, the leverage they're talking about is they're leveraging this belief that this portfolio will actually last for 30 years, right? It will actually last for 30 years. And they're saying, that's quite leveraged as far as a belief. We're really stretching that belief system that it will. So it probably won't. On the other hand, if you put together a stream of income that produces $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $1 million a month, whatever it is, all these different levels of income have been achieved by people within our group. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, if you've got that much income coming in, that's even better than what you're doing with a job. How could you not survive and live a happy life financially with that type of income coming in on a regular, reoccurring basis? And that's the key. It's regular, reoccurring income. Unlike your 401k, which pays you nothing, your IRA pays you nothing, your home paid in full pays you nothing, none of them are sending you a check in the mail every month. What you're doing is, at some point, liquidating your 401k, liquidating your IRA, or liquidating your home to get money. And when you do that, that's how you survive. But you can only liquidate so much stuff before it's gone. And the more you liquidate, the less return you have. And when you're all done, there's nothing left to leave behind for your legacy, for your family. So this 4% rule, which is what 99% of all retirement plans are based on out there. Every financial planner in the world goes to 2 days of school to learn the 4% plan. And every financial institution out there sets up a 4% plan. Now, some of them I've heard on the radio are saying it's only 3% now, which makes this whole day and conversation even worse. So remember, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.